What's up, everyone? This is Randy. Uh, Today, what I want to do is kind of do a behind the scenes, the making of my latest short, The Darkness. Today, we are going to go over video, and I'm going to make this a bit of a segment, so I will do audio in a separate video, only because audio is 50% of everything that we see in films for the most part, and it deserves its own video and attention. But with that being said, today I'm going to go over my method of how I do things, and hopefully you can take something away from this. If you do, awesome. If you don't, awesome. Enjoy, or don't. Don't tell you. All right, let's kind of get into this. So, what I will normally do after I finish filming is I will take the SD card, put it in, make a folder, and I'll label it whatever the project is. In this particular situation, the project is called The Darkness. So, I'll take all my raw footage and put them all right here. So, I'll have that ready to go because then when I open up Final Cut and I create a project in that one called The Darkness, it's just easy, drop it all in there. Again, audio, here's my audio stuff I did. We'll go over all that next time. And let's get right into this. So you'll obviously see a final product here because it's already done, but I'm going to talk you through what I look for, I try to do in all this. Okay, so starting with, we have a clean canvas here. It would be, I would go to import, and then from import, desktop, darkness, import. And then the whole folder comes with it, and I will have all my footage. From there, I'll start scrubbing, and I'll find what I'm looking for, and then I will drag and drop into here. And when I do, it actually starts first off like this. And I normally have an idea of how everything is going to look only because I come into this with a bit of a mental storyboard. If I'm the only one working on it, I know what I'm trying to see. Otherwise, if other people are on it, I will have a storyboard so that way we have a reference point about everything that's going on. So everything you see here, for the most part, is raw audio as well, but we'll go over that later. My key focus, what I'm trying to do, is find what I'm looking for and start editing. I will start to edit. There you go. I will start to edit this in here. And once I have a final demo done, I will combine everything and put it into one, and then I'll start my color correction. So in here, I'll go through, find the scenes I want, do certain, like for this particular one right here, I have a zooming that's going, or I'm scaling it ever so subtle, so to add a little bit more dramatic effect that's going on right there. Visually, I try to tell something. The gun, obviously, if you've seen it, it'll come into play later. If you haven't seen it, then don't watch this because it's not going to make much sense. I want you to go watch it, and then if you're curious about how I did everything, come back to this. That's your disclaimer. Okay, moving on. So we have little things going on right there. I will have certain scenes such as like right here, perfect. You'll notice there's some black right here. I reposition this down just a little bit right here. Remember, Y is up and down, X is always left and right for you algebra masters. I moved this down because later on when I talk about the aspect ratio, half of my head was cut off here and just didn't look appealing, didn't look good. So I had to remove it a bit. Okay, so ideally you have your video all laid down. It's edited to how you want it to. And now we're ready to start doing some visual enhancements. First thing we'll do is I will talk to you about the most important thing for me, and we'll use this one as an example. The most single-handedly most important thing you need to know that you could do for your films to make them look more professional is color correction. And we're going to use this particular shot right here as a perfect example. I'm going to point out some things to you right now. I'm going to show you a before and after, And that way you can see what it is that I was trying to do, and where you find it applicable for your situation, you'll understand. So the first thing I want to point out is all the darker colors you see going on in here. And specifically, I'm talking about the speaker that's in frame right here. This is a black speaker, but if you really pay attention, there's blue going on, and that's intentional. Same thing in the background right over here, over here. Even my midtones, there's some blue that's going on right here on purpose. And there's also a hint of green that's going on in the lighter aspects right here, and a little bit more of the highlights. All intentional. So when we open up the color board right here, you will see, yep, all my shadows. I got blue. My midtones got some blue, a little bit of cyan, but mostly blue. And then I got some greens going into the yellows here. And this is very important because if we open up this particular frame right here in the unedited version, watch the difference. Now it's no longer blue, everything's more orange, and it just looks like something was shot on a camcorder. And so I wanted to really focus on contrast between this character and this character. And he has his own rules about what's going on, and I'll explain that later. But for this particular character right here, the normal person in this situation, not the darkness, I wanted to have it more blue. And what that does is when you look over here at the darkness, and whenever he is in frame, you have more orange going on and a bit of a warmer field of color that's happening. Also intentional. Now, when we click on it, nothing changed. It all stayed right here. But why? Then why is this more orange than when this is going on? Because I intentionally used a warm lamp, the prop lamp that's in the office. I used that to make everything orange so I can make him also more orange. And when I came into here, where the lamp wasn't really being shined on to this subject, I can make it more blue and still keep a contrast that's happening. So warm colors give a sense of, more dominance that's happening. He's more in control. And so I wanted to bring up my highlights to make that show. But even so, if I double click onto the raw, I mean, it's really, really warm, as you can see. And so I purposely wanted to really overpower that for those correction stuff. Now, it is a good rule of thumb for other people that they might want to shoot completely flat. And what that means is that there is no colored, or the most you will do is just do your white balance and then edit everything in post. Again, I would do that if more people were on this project, but I came into this knowing what I was trying to do, so I could not make it so flat, and I made it more warm. So you look right there, and then there's your final one, and that's what we have going on. Next thing I want to talk about is the exposure. Just as important. Now let's open up the raw file, and you can see that it's brighter. And if you paid attention over here, you would see that the highlights went back up. So the highlights were down the most because this was really bright. And not just on that subject, but in this subject too. It was very bright. Backing out of it, you can look at over here, click on this, bring it down. Midtones, I also brought down a bit. So I wanted to give it a more cinematic feel. I don't really touch the shadows on this one because everything that was lit had to be lit. So I didn't have to make any adjustments on any of the darker stuff. So using this particular frame, looking at it, I just wanted to bring it down just a bit. Clicking on it, it's bright. We come over here and let's use this subject right here again. Bringing it down, double click, it's brighter. So, yeah. Now, what I normally don't ever do, I haven't done it yet, I don't think I'm ever going to do it, is I'm never going to adjust the global. I will leave that right there. I don't want to brighten everything or darken everything in exposures when I have control over it. Same thing with color. I don't touch it because I don't want to make everything a certain color. Majority of the time, certain projects might dictate. Saturation for this particular one, nothing really needs to be saturated or grayed out for shadows, midtones, or highlights. So I left that alone. And now, last thing I want to talk about is the aspect ratio. So if we look right here, we got these boulders that's going on right here. That gave it a more cinematic look for it. And it also did two things for me. Not only that, so when you see this, for me, personal preference, it didn't look as so cinematic. If I had that as the final product right there, it would just look like a YouTube video. And I was trying to do something a little bit more. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's going on right here. I do all that, and I came with this. Hopefully, you found something out of this. If you didn't, then hopefully you found this narration entertaining. And if you didn't, then you're just a sad, sad person. All right, so last thing I think I want to just kind of go over is visually telling a story. Thinking. What is he thinking about? He's watching or he's reading something, but what's going on? Oh, he has his cell phone right there. Oh, this is what he's looking at. Inner voices behind violent behavior. Ooh, that's ambiguous. Oh, camera starts to pan in. He is contemplating something. He is lost in thought as he breaks contact. What's going on? I don't know. Oh, there's a gun involved. I wanted to put that in there so that way you can see that gun was going to play a factor later on, but show it early on so that way you're not thinking, hey, he has a gun there the whole time. As you can see, he's very disappointed that the gun's on the table and he doesn't know what's going on. So what does he do? Any sane man would pick up his cell phone immediately and start texting his buddy and saying, hey, man, I'm having some serious bad thoughts. So I wanted to show that what's going on. And as that happening, and then he starts to go a little bit crazy, Avi, and he ends up just starts talking to himself. Who's he talking to? I don't know. He's not talking to me. He's talking to himself, even though that is me. Wait, what's going on? Is that his twin? No. This is all just an analogy. Boom. Visual storytelling. You're welcome. So we have all that's going on. And then, oh, spoiler alert. He takes the gun. Everything goes black with a bang. Then we have a fade in. He's staring at himself because who knows what's going on. Yeah, was the whole thing a metaphor? Has he been looking at himself this whole time? Who knows? What's he going to do with that gun? Who knows? I tried to actually really place some visual elements in every frame that will tell a story even subconsciously, i.e., the picture that's going on right here. I wanted that to also, be very apparent without smacking you in the face saying, hey, look at me, that he's struggling. Clearly, this guy has some issues, but not me, him. All right, moving on. Cuts up to his close, thinking, man, what have I done? One more time, cuts up. He's done a lot. And we will fade. Scene. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have taken something away from this. I hope you learned something. If you did not, then let me know what I could have done better. Otherwise, stay tuned for the next one where we will talk in depth about what's going on here because this is just so important and you don't even know, and that's okay. Subscribe to the channel for more behind the scenes, the making of, for more short films, for everything else. Who knows? But follow the channel and I will talk to you then. Have a great day. Bye-bye.